Attendance. Gamble is present. Allen is present. Benedict present. Councilmember Cap. Councilmember Cortez. Councilmember Gadd. Horton. Coopin is present. Parker is present. Rutherford is present. All right, and Welch present. Thank you all for being here today. I detect a quorum. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, with 9 members present. That too. And we will start with the public comment period. There is no one signed up for public comment. With no comment or further notice on the public comment, we will move on to the consent agenda. I'll read the numbers for the consent agenda, and if anything needs to be pulled off, please let me know. The consent agenda starts with resolution RS 2024-241, 260. Bills on second reading, BL 2024-189, 190, 191, 193, 194, 195, 196, 197, 198, 199, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210, and that concludes the consent agenda. Does anything need to be pulled off? Okay, with no notification of anything that needs to be pulled off, I will go forward in reading the captions for the consent agenda. Starting with RS 2024-241 by Nash, Porterfield, Gamble, and Allen, authorizes the Metropolitan Government and Housing Agency to negotiate and enter into a pilot agreement and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 500 Ocala Drive, known as Hickory Forest. RS 2024-260, Porterfield, Gamble, Parker, authorizes the Metropolitan Government to enter into an interlocal agreement with the City of Goodlettsville for the transfer of the Liberty Lane service area. Bills on second reading, BL 2024-189, Coopin, Porterfield, Gamble, and others, approves a lease agreement between the Metropolitan Government and Nashville Garage LP for office space at 350 Dedrick Street, Nashville, Tennessee. BL 2024-190, Coopin, Porterfield, Gamble, Parker, authorizes the grant of an easement on various parcels of property comprising a portion of the existing Nissan Stadium campus and approving the grant of a related easement by the Sports Authority for the same purpose. BL 2024-191, Porterfield, Gamble, Parker, grants a franchise to Uniti Fiber LLC to construct, operate, and maintain a fiber optic communication systems within Metropolitan Nashville and Davidson County under the provision of Metropolitan Code of Laws, Title 6, Chapter 26. Bill 2024-193, Spain, Gamble, Parker, authorizes the Metropolitan Government to negotiate and accept permanent and temporary easements for the Newsom Station Road Stormwater Improvement Project for 2 properties located at 8411 Highway 70 and 8511 Newsom Station Road. BL 2024-194, Taylor, Gamble, Parker, authorizes the Metropolitan Government to negotiate and accept temporary and permanent easements for the Tolbert Street Stormwater Improvement Project for 13 properties located on Clifton Avenue and Torbett Street. BL 2024-195, Bradford, Gamble, Parker, authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water pump station and easements for property located at 1 Terminal Drive, also known as MNAA TARI Pump House. BL 2024-196, Bradford, Gamble, Parker, authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water main and easements for property located at 1 Terminal Drive, also known as MNAA TARI RWM. BL 2024-197, Toombs, Gamble, Parker, authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrants assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 2405 Monticello Drive, also known as Monticello. BL 2024-198, Coopin, Gamble, Parker, authorizing Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public sanitary sewer mains and to accept new public sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 901 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive Boulevard. BL 2024-199, Hancock Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 445 Neely's Bend Road. BL 2024-200, Parker Gamble authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes and to accept new public sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for two properties located at 2801 and 2803 Dickerson Pike, also known as Dickerson Pike Townhomes. BL 2024-201, Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes and to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant, assembly, and sanitary sewer manholes for properties located at 3414 and 3416 Park Drive, also known as Clarendale West End. BL 2024-202, Parker Gamble authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing water and sanitary sewer mains and fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes and easements, and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes and easements for two properties located at 651 and 660 Joseph Avenue, also known as River Chase Apartments. BL 2024-203, Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer force mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 7 properties located on Sam Donald Road, Split Log Road, and Secret Acres Lane in Williamson County, also known as Calistoga Section 1. BL 2024-204, Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for 2 properties located at 4030 Whites Creek Pike and Whites Creek Pike, also known as Cherry Grove. BL 2024-205, Isa Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public water and sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes easements, and to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 1102 Robinson Road, also known as Clemens Crossing Townhomes. BL 2024-206, Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 1808 Gallatin Pike, also known as Equinox Rivergate. BL 2024-207, Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manhole and to accept new public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 1021 South Street, also known as Alta Rochelle. BL 2024-208, Bradford Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water main and fire hydrant assembly for property located at 1300 Donaldson Pike, also known as Donaldson Pike Industrial West. BL 2024-209, Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 2374 Rocky Fork Road in Williamson County. And finally, BL 2024-210, Greg Gamble Parker authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept a new public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 1738 Lebanon Pike, also known as Tempo at Mill Creek. May I have a motion for the consent agenda? Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All right, without any discussion, we move for approval. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. All right, going back to our resolution that was not on consent, the first one on your agenda, RS 2024-240, Porterfield and Gamble approves Amendment 2 to RS 2022-1696 to change the date that unobligated funds left in the Affordable Housing Gap Financing Program shall be transferred to the Barnes Fund for Affordable Housing. May I have a motion? Thank you. Moved and properly seconded. There is a substitute on this bill, and can I move it? Okay, I'll move the substitute in place of Councilmember Porterfield. May we have an explanation? Oh, I'm sorry. I need a second. Thank you. Thank you for the second. Now we can move to discussion. If the planning table would like to give us. Okay, all right. Our Ms. Darby will give us an explanation of the substitute.
This is a housekeeping amendment. It just adds a couple of technicalities to the legislation by referencing the actual sections of the resolution and deleting a reference to a prior amendment when there hadn't been one.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilmember Allen.
Yes, ma'am. If someone come from the Affordable Housing Division could just talk about who got some of this gap funding and why there's some left over and why we're doing this, that'd be great.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here from Affordable Housing Task Force?
Hi, guys. I'm Karen Weaver. I'm the director or the manager of the Barnes Fund. I'm not actually from the Affordable Housing Task Force, and what I thought I heard was from the Housing Division. And so I came up to answer questions, but I don't know anything about how this money was used in terms of the specifics.
Thank you. So actually, if there's someone here from the Barnes Fund or someone from the administration that could speak to this bill, was this part of the ARP
Yes.
program? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay.
It was part of the original money that was, I believe, allocated to MDHA.
Yes.
And then it was, the remainder of it was being released to the Barnes Fund to be reissued.
Okay. Thank you. You all have anything to add to that? Okay. Oh, yes, Councilmember Allen. Oh, there you go.
So in the last term, we had a mechanism for getting some good reporting back on how things were being utilized, and that sort of ended with the end of the term. And I would be really interested in getting more information on this. It may be available somewhere if someone can provide to Ms. Darby either where that information is available or if we could get a report on that by March 31. That would be, because my understanding is all this does is change the date for this to happen from the end of December to the end of March. So we had made the decision that if the money didn't get spent, it would go to the Barnes Fund anyway, but I would really be interested in knowing how it got used.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Evans, you're recognized.
Thank you for recognizing me, even though I'm not on the committee. I was part of the scoring process for this money, and so MDHA probably has the best insight into the details on the outcome related to the scoring and the funding. But I guess one question that I have that I have been looking for information on is, are we, as far as the transition to the Barnes Fund, is the intent for when it gets to the Barnes Fund that it'll be allocated to the same 0 to 30% AMI funding? Will that process still be underway? And that's something I'm a little unclear of.
Yes, Councilmember, I can answer that. We are planning to use it for 0 to 30% income. It is designed to serve the same population as what it was originally going to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Allen.
Thank you. One more question. My understanding is, if I'm not getting my different funding things mixed up, this one was supposed to be a revolving fund that some of this would then come back and be able to be utilized over and over and over again, which would be amazing. Do we know if any of that happened? That's not typically the Barnes model, but maybe it could be. Do we know if that's going to happen?
We have not planned for that to happen as part of this funding round. We'll use it as grants, was the plan, because we're working with that same population. So I know that was the original intent because I was in the mayor's office at that point and was doing some of the reporting, but I don't know exactly how it ended up being allocated from MDHA.
Thank you. Any follow-up, Councilmember Allen? Okay. Councilmember Evans.
Thank you. I just wanted to add some color to that because that was the intent, for the MDHA funds, was for it to, then continue on and be kind of like an annuity or, some other financial model where eventually that money would come back in. What I learned as part of the scoring process, though, is that because of the funding stacks and their requirements for repayment, like if it were a loan, in some cases, the loan components don't start being paid back to Metro for in one case I remember was 13 or 14 years from now. So I just put that out there because it was a learning for me to share with everybody.
Thank you. And we have a comment from the admin table on this subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Councilmember representative from MDHA will be here for the Budget Committee in a little while and can hopefully answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any further questions? We're still on the substitute. Any further questions or discussion regarding the substitute? I have moved the substitute and it has been seconded. If there's no further questions or discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. The bill has been substituted. Now we'll move the bill as substituted. Moved to properly seconded. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Moved for approval. All right, moving to we're going to third reading now. Bills on third reading, number 25 on your agenda, BL 2023-79, Benedict Evans Segal, amend section 17-12040 of the Metropolitan Code zoning regulations regarding covered front porches within the required street setback. And we have a substitute on the bill. Would sponsor like to move the substitute?
Yes, Chair, move the substitute.
Moved and properly seconded. We're on your substitute.
Thank you. So this bill allows, I think most of us get BZA requests for people to add a front porch onto their home. This bill allows that to be built as long as it is not more than 6 feet off of the house and at least 10 feet out of the right-of-way. The substitute simply adds that this cannot be enclosed, this cannot be habitable space underneath the porch. So the whole purpose of the porch is for it to be a porch, not something that can be enclosed, not something that can be used as habitable space. And so this just clarifies that under the porch also cannot be habitable. So with that, I'll renew my motion.
Thank you. Motion, any more discussion or questions? Councilmember Allen.
Thank you. I think this is a great addition that we're making, but I do know that sometimes people come along 10 and 15 years later and close in a porch. Is there any mechanism for flagging that on down the line to ensure that that doesn't happen?
Planning table?
Sure. So enclosing a porch would require a building permit. If someone came in to get a building permit, they would be told that they cannot do that unless they go get a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals to permit what would then be an enclosed structure to go into the setback. So it's only permitted as a porch.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments? With no further discussion, all those in favor of the substitute? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. We will take the bill as substituted. Can I move it? We'd like to move the bill. Oh. There you go.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move the bill as substituted, please.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? With no discussion, all those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Bill approved. Okay, moving to number 26, substitute bill BL 2023-133 by Councilmember Harrell. So I can move it. What do we want to do? Do we have a letter? Okay. All right, I will sign on to the bill, to move the bill for discussion. May I have a second? Moved and properly seconded, and hopefully we can have the planning table talk about this substitute.
Right. The substitute does a couple of things or the amendment to the substitute does a couple of things to the substitute that was already adopted. It removes certain number of uses from the SP, including alternative financial services, automobile repair, automobile service, which is different from automobile convenience. Automobile service is like tire shops or oil change places. Automobile convenience is gas stations. So the gas stations still go there. Beer and cigarette markets also removed. Car wash is removed. Flea market removed. Self-service storage is removed. Manufacturing light is removed. And warehouse is removed. It also adds 3 additional conditions, including the provision of sidewalks on the property connecting to the existing sidewalks on Mount View Road and Murfreesboro Pike. as well as mandating that there can only be one access to the SP from Murfreesboro Pike, and it can only be right in, right out. And then finally, it requires a buffer yard along the residential properties to the north and east of it as well.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, any discussion about the amendment to the substitute? With no further discussion, all those in favor of the amendment? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, now I will move the bill as amended. May I have a second? Thank you. Any further discussion on the bill as amended? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And last on our agenda is BL 2023-138 by Councilmember Toombs, amends Section 1740-010 of the Metropolitan Code zoning regulations to require notice to the district council member for reasonable accommodations to the zoning ordinance granted by the zoning administrator. May I have a motion? Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All right. Councilmember Toombs is not here, but I will say I appreciate this bill because many times I was not aware of applications being filed for zone changes and kind of came as a shock. So this way we will receive notifications prior to or when an application is submitted. And if the planning table could confirm or verify that's what this does.
This bill actually deals with a reasonable accommodation within the code. We already so they should be sending that based on the resolution from last term. But this is sort of like when a church wants a new LED sign, or in the case of this bill, when a church wants to build a senior housing on a portion of their property where the zoning wouldn't otherwise allow, they can seek a reasonable accommodation due to their religious preference. Or alternatively, if you have a handicap, you can also seek reasonable accommodation so you can work through your handicap if the zoning doesn't allow what you need.
Okay, but it will require notice.
Yes, this requires notice of that reasonable accommodation within the period in time that the district council member or the community could file an appeal if they felt one was warranted.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Any comments or questions about the bill? With no further discussion, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. That concludes our agenda for today. Thank you so much.